you even listening?
The art of listening is important, and being a good listener is probably the easiest way to connect with other people and build relationships.
Hello, I'm Linnetta.
I'm Patrick.
And together we are co-founders of
Vertical Connections, Inc.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you are new to this channel, please be sure to subscribe. Everyone click that like button and share this message.
Also, we greatly appreciate when you leave comments. We look forward to those in the future. Being an active listener is the opposite of being a passive listener, and you probably have even experienced this.
You know, when the person you're talking to might technically be hearing some of what you're sharing with them, but they turned out their mind is, simply put, elsewhere.
For the person speaking, this can be very discouraging and even disappointing. When people really aren't paying attention to us, we can even get to the point of asking ourselves, why am I still talking?
But active listening looks, sounds, and feels obvious. By being an active listener, it means that you are listening completely. But before anybody does that well, here are a few secrets or essential pieces to being an active listener.
Number 1, you have to commit to listening. Put aside whatever else might be distracting you and make listening a real priority. Good listening is first and foremost a choice we make. So you have to do this, make that choice every time someone begins to speak.
2, it takes practice. Yes. Like any skill, you need to work at it. The good news is that listening is not mysterious or complicated. Here are a few qualities of active listening that you can put to practice.
First, active listening involves nonverbal communication. And there are 2 sides to this. On one hand, you have to show the person that you are engaged in paying attention. This may look like putting away your devices, making eye contact, and your body posture. You know, straighten up your chair, actually focus and be pointed at the person speaking.
Very good. On the other hand, you notice that the speaker has some nonverbal cues. It's been said that a person should listen with their eyes, and what it is meant by that is that you take notice of what's happening with the person when it comes to their mood or the emotions that they're displaying. Does it appear that they are nervous, frustrated, maybe even annoyed? You can pick up on these by actively observing their nonverbal behaviors.
Secondly, active listening involves verbal communication. There are 2 sides to this as well. And the obvious one is to ask good questions. One of the most noticeable indicators that good listening is taking place can be seen when the listener asks a good question and then they let the speaker fully answer it.
For instance, a good therapist, for example, will ask a thoughtful question and then stop talking. They let the client freely and honestly speak, which is what they are primarily paying them for. In any case, it's just somebody that will listen intensely. So a good question is a huge part of the listening equation.
The other part of verbal communication can be found in small utterances that show the other person that we're following them, such as I hear you, or yeah, or that makes sense. Sometimes it's not even a full word. It's more of a sound effect like or uh-huh. We have those little sound effects that keep us engaged as well and show the other person that we're following what is being said.
Next, actively listening involves responding to what somebody just said. So it may go something like this. You ask the question, they respond, however long that it takes. You give an informed response to them.
For instance, you ask a person what they've been up to lately. That's the question. And then during their talking turn, they tell you that they have gone camping. So then you listen to all about their camping experiences and all of the things that have taken place, and you might respond to it by saying something like, oh, I didn't realize that you enjoyed camping and you get to do that with your family. Or you can use a follow-up question with that as well, such as, oh, how long have you actually been camping? Is this something that you've been doing for a long time?
Another thing with that, if you're not interested in what they have to say, find yourself turning that off and listening to what you can learn
Oh, nice.
Turn it around so that you are becoming a listener. Listen to
Yes.
what you can learn and be ready to share information that you heard them say. When they finish, they turn, it's their turn to talk, right? Or it's your turn to talk. This is where you show that you were actively taking in what they had to say, right? And that you were interested in what they had to say, reflecting back on what you just heard.
You may say something like, wow, it sounds like you had a great time. Or it's cool to hear that you got to relax and do this. It's always good to make sure that you then follow that up. Ask them more about it so that way they have a chance to share everything fully.
The key is respond to what they have just been saying. What you don't want to do is just look at them like a deer in the headlights. And not react when they're done talking. You may have had somebody do this as you were talking. Remember, you tell them about part of what their day is or something meaningful that has taken place and they don't react. They will have that look on their face as if they just went on a mini brain vacation. Been there, done that. Yes,
Absolutely.
I have, and I've had to apologize for it. If you want to be a champ and not a chump, when it comes to active listening, you need to respond to what they have been sharing.
Lastly, keep the focus on them and let them talk. This may seem obvious because you're actively listening, but when you decide to go into that listening mode, just make the decision that this is going to be all about the other person talking and not about you. Resist that temptation of changing the subject to maybe your favorite sports team or something that you're interested in. Keep the talking point very specific and concise and stick with whatever topic they're interested in.
Once the person has finished talking, there will usually be an opportunity later in the conversation for you to share your experiences. But focus on dedicating at least the first half of the conversation to being an active listener.
So we hope that this helps you when it comes to being an active listener. In the comments below, please share with us some of those tips that might have helped you, that you have realized that you could work on, that'll make you a better listener. We look forward to reading those. But until next time,
Get connected
to go vertical. Bye-bye.